Caitlin Clark is Larry Bird with a vagina. The rivalry of the WNBA. People want to be like Caitlin in terms of her influence on moving the needle for this league. Who is Angel Reese? She's not even the magician that shows up at kids' birthday parties. Her best talent is she's tall. Can I get an amen? Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the rivalry of the WNBA. This is what got us interested. Let's be honest, it was the dominating number one story of last season. People were a lot less interested in the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty than they were in seeing Caitlin Clark and the mean girl from LSU come into the league together. And let's see what happens. Well, we've seen what has happened for a little bit over a year now. And Candace Parker, WNBA superstar, one of the best that the league has ever seen, she's seen enough to draw conclusions on the so-called rivalry between these two, appearing on the Spolitics podcast. Jamel Hill, that's the worst podcast name I've ever heard. Spolitics. Candace Parker gets real about Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and if this thing is a rivalry at all.
So I just think that it's like comparing apples and oranges. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
at least
they don't play the same position.
They like doing the like Magic and the Bird comparison. Well, they played similar positions. Like Bird wasn't a point guard, but he played the guard position. Like they at least kind of match up. This, like, what are we doing? So I'm not falling into that. I'm not into the comparison. I think that there are a number of things that Angel can improve on, will improve on in the situation she's in. And I think Caitlin Clark has done that even in her first year in terms of, you know, being able to be that floor general. Her and Aaliyah Boston's connection has really improved. And I think the thing about Caitlin, yes, she can shoot from the logo, but she makes her team better. And so I think just in terms for her, it's going to be moving. What are you doing without the ball in your hands? And I think it's going to be taking care of the ball for her. Those two things.
I said from the very beginning, Caitlin Clark is Larry Bird with a vagina. She plays that game. She's Michael Jordan in terms of her influence on moving the needle for this league. She has that level of star player. People want to be like Caitlin. So she's Jordan if you want to talk about the level of star power that she brings to a league that had virtually zero before she arrived. But her game is Larry Bird. And it's not just the shooting. Yeah, Larry Bird, one of the greatest shooters who ever lived. And Caitlin Clark, quite honestly, she shoots from further out than Larry did. I didn't see Larry taking logo threes. That wasn't a thing in the 80s and the 90s. She's got Steph Curry range, and she passes the ball. Her court awareness reminds me of Larry Bird. You watch her for very long. Her passing is honestly as magnificent as her shooting. And as Candace Parker said, she makes the players around her better. She makes the players around her better. You were immediately a better player if you were on the court with Larry Bird because he would figure out what you could do. He could see what you couldn't do, and he would get you in a position to highlight and emphasize what you did well, and he would help you succeed in that. And we saw it in Boston. Year after year after year after year. So Caitlin Clark is Larry Bird in terms of the on-court package. Now, who is Angel Reese? Well, she sure as hell ain't Magic Johnson. She's not even the magician that shows up at kids' birthday parties and makes balloon animals and shit. Okay, she can't play. I'm coming around to this. Ronnie T-Shirts on this program said yesterday, her best talent is she's tall. And I'm not saying she's George Murison or Manute Bol, but I'm not sure who I would be insulting more if I did make that comparison. If you want to make a comparison of Angel Reese, I've said she's the Bill Laimbeer of the league. I said it a year ago. She's Bill Laimbeer. She's a villain, but she is a B-teamer in terms of her actual on-court ability. But the fact of the matter is Bill Laimbeer was a very, very useful player. He made some all-star teams. He was good. He wasn't great on the level of the best who've ever done it. like Larry and Magic. The reason that Larry and Magic worked is they were both MVP caliber players. And on top of it, you know another reason that we like that rivalry? Nobody was an asshole. Angel Reese has behaved like an asshole frequently, and that is how she has compensated for lacking an on-court game. Caitlin Clark is conservatively 10 times the player that Angel Reese is. But Angel Reese has roped us in by playing the bad guy, pointing at the ring finger, comments that she makes in social media, all of the theatrics that we go through with the pregame fashion show and all of it. The Cobra Kai element, right? Jumping up off the bench when Kennedy Carter cheap shotted Caitlin Clark. But you can't make a long-term compelling rivalry from being an asshole. You gotta be able to play. And if you can't make a layup, I don't know what conversation that we're having. I'd be better off comparing Angel Reese to who? Any number of players in the league, but they can all make layups too. So you tell me, she can rebound, she's a problem defensively. The Chicago Sky aren't any good, and Angel Reese looks worse this season so far in her sophomore campaign than she did her freshman year. So Candace Parker dismissing that and dismissing it correctly. But never dismiss it when Cinemax is coming in half unscrambled, my friends. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at that. That could be anything, but it looks pretty spicy to me. 12-year-old me just perked up and walked over to the television screen here. Big moment for 8th grade boys everywhere. Good luck, gentlemen, and may God be with you as you attempt to see an areola for the first time in your young life. The struggle was real for us in the 1980s. Nowadays, they say, oh, well, how are you going to keep your kids from getting on the internet and looking at the worst kind of filth that's out there? We hoped and wished and prayed that we would see a little filth back in the 1980s. Can I get an amen? Can I get a witness from the congregation?
Amen.
Hallelujah, brother. And sometimes if it was pixelated and scrambled, that might be the only nipple you were going to get. So be grateful for what you have, children. You don't know how hard it was when we were walking uphill through snow both ways to school and just hoping that Cinemax or HBO would come in semi-unscrambled once in a while. Let's continue on with the WNBA because this seems to be, I'll give them credit. They generate a lot of drama, this league. I don't know what it is. It's like Mean Girls, this league. But for once, we've got a complaint that is being directed from a player, not at another player, this time being directed at officiating. And I speak of Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum is pissed off. And she's pissed off because she's not getting the foul calls that she believes other players in the league are getting. And let's go to the tape. I want you to see this because I love it when an athlete gets to the point of righteous indignation. When an athlete says, I'm going to be fined and I realize that and I don't care. I got to get this off my chest. I'm ready to listen. And believe me, Kelsey Plum has some things to say.
Fine for saying this, but I drive more than anyone in the league. So to shoot 6 free throws is fucking absurd. And I got scratches on my face, got scratches on my body, and these guards on the other team get these ticky-tack fouls, and I'm sick of it. I get fouled like that every possession. Ricky gets fouled like that in the post all the time, and they don't call it, and I don't know what else to do. It's really frustrating though. I'm I feel, there's multiple shots at the end of the game, either go into the third, into the fourth, where they're just coming and fucking swinging, and they just don't call anything. I don't understand how that's 6 free throws. Playing 40 minutes, touching the paint almost every play is absurd. It's absurd. And so I'm saying, I'll get fined for that, and that's fine, but, and I needed to make more shots, late game, but I mean, they're fouling the shit out of me every single play. Yeah. So I'm very frustrated with that, and I'm sick of it. I don't know what I need to do. I talk to the refs nice. I pray before the game. Like, fuck, I'm over it.
Thank you.
Justin.
They're fouling the shit out of her on every single play. She's got scratches all over herself. Listen to her. She's had it. Scratches on my face, scratches on my body. The other team gets these ticky-tacky foul calls. She said she prays before the game. She's nice to the referees. What does this woman have to do? She's a former #1 overall pick in the WNBA. She's a former 6th woman of the year. 3-time All-Star. Can she get a call? And listen, let's talk about the scratches, by the way. There's more scratching going on in the WNBA on any given night than at your local club. I don't know, Jam Master Jay didn't scratch as much shit as these women are scratching during these games. Thank you, Ronald. I appreciate that. The acrylic nails have got to go. Listen, this is sports. You can't go out. You see the kinds of nails that women are wearing now? My oldest daughter, who I love to pieces, wears these long acrylic nails. They're bedazzled. Shit's all over them. She's like Edward Scissorhands. I don't know how she fucking can work her phone. How can you type? She has a job. She's employed. She's gainfully employed. I know she uses a keyboard at her job. How in the hell she's typing, I have no idea. Now you tell me, how are you going to go out, dribble a basketball, and play high-level hoops with these long fucking acrylic fake fingernails that these women are wearing? And we got people getting scratched. We already talked about Dejanay Carrington on the program yesterday when she poked Caitlin Clark in the eyes last year. I defended her at the time after seeing her yank a player by the hair. In recent days, I'm starting to question whether or not she actually did it on purpose. But whether she did it on purpose or not, maybe the point is you shouldn't be wearing those instruments of destruction at the ends of your fingertips in league play anyway. If I was the commissioner of the WNBA, I'd ban acrylic nails tomorrow. You don't need acrylic fucking fingernails. No rule. Take a look at this. You think it's the most obvious thing in the world, but there is actually no rule against this. Players can choose how they want to groom themselves. And hey, look, again, as with so many other things in life, I'm all in favor of your ability to do what you want the way that you want to do it until it starts impeding on the rights and safety of other people. And so this one is pretty simple for me. Wear your fancy nails out to your regular job. You work in an office somewhere, grow those motherfuckers out like the guy from the Guinness Book of World Records when I was a kid. You remember that guy? His fingernails were like 5 feet long.
So creepy.
Do that. Yeah, but don't go into a game with it, because we've already had too many incidents over the course of last year and this year, people being scratched and whatever. It's not a cat fight. It's a basketball game. So Kelsey Plum, I don't know. Some people are reading in between the lines on this about her complaints about the officiating. Is there more to it? Is she trying to make a bigger statement about a league-wide problem? I don't know. I just know that we got a player here who doesn't think that she's getting the calls, and scratches, give me a fucking break. You know who got all the calls, by the way? Kelsey Plum. You may not be getting the calls, but I'll tell you who got every fucking call. Rocky Balboa. Look at that. He's hitting Mr. T. How low is that punch, fellas? That one went under Mr. T's balls, I think. You think the referee took a point away from Rocky ever? Did you ever see that happen? I don't think so. Clearly a low blow. The referee's always favored Balboa, and we know it. I'm calling bullshit. And I'll tell you another guy that would have liked to have had more calls go his way. I speak of the General, Robert Montgomery Knight. he got some calls. He didn't get nearly as many as he wanted. And look at this. How's that for a bench? I believe that's the Pan Am Games. I'm not sure if that's the same one where somebody ended up in a little street incident with Coach Knight. But, yeah, bullshit. That was a foul. Mike, shut up. I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. Mike Krzyzewski caught me playing with my hair again. How's my hair looking today, Ronnie? Are you liking what you see?
Luxurious.
Get some feedback? Thank you. I knew it. Just needed confirmation. Danica Patrick is weighing in on the Simone Biles, Riley Gaines flap. Simone Biles saying that Riley Gaines is mean and she bullies trans people and there needs to be a path for inclusiveness and trans people's rights should be honored, even if that means that they're playing against girls and women, which is the issue that is at hand here. Champlin Park, Minnesota, state softball champions, their star player, the pitcher that led them on a heater that went straight through the postseason in dominant fashion and led to a championship, is a biological male. Riley Gaines pointed that out. Simone Biles said, well, that's mean because apparently the truth is mean. Now, sometimes the truth is mean, folks. Sometimes the truth doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make it any less true. And it doesn't make the person who's pointing out what the truth is a bad guy. Danica Patrick recognizing that, saying this issue has a shelf life. I truly believe common sense will prevail. But until then, I'm grateful for people like Riley Gaines who are making sure no one gets away with it, not to mention the fact that she actually lived it. Defending men and women's sports is a woke mind virus and or another issue that requires therapy, says Patrick. Either way, it's so irrational. And it is. And it doesn't make you anti-trans people to recognize that there are two divisions for a reason. The whole reason that women's sports exists is because women and men are different biologically. Otherwise, there would have been no need for women's sports. We would have all just competed together, and every league would have ended up being about 50% male and 50% female. Just like your fucking kickball games from elementary school. But that's not what happens. So we created women's sports. And it is not anything derogatory against great women athletes. Let's say Venus Williams, for instance, who has, 23 or 24 career Grand Slam championships? She's one of the greatest American sports stars in the history of this country, and it is not anything shameful to say that if she played against men, she probably wouldn't have been ranked in the top 200 in the world, even at her best. She acknowledged herself on a late-night talk show appearance a number of years ago. She said if she played Andy Murray, and Andy Murray is a multiple-time Grand Slam champion, but he's not Nadal, he's not Federer, he's not Djokovic, okay? Great player. She said she would lose to Andy Murray 0-0 in about 10 minutes. And that is not any sort of a slight on Serena Williams. I always want to call her Venus. Venus won 7 Grand Slams herself. She's like the Billy Ripken of the family. How does that happen? You imagine winning Wimbledon 5 times and you're the other sister? Although I like to say her name for whatever reason. I always call Serena Venus. Serena is one of the greatest American athletes ever, and there is no shame in saying that she would lose 0-0 if she played a 3-set match against any of these men's legends. Because we're comparing apples and oranges. Candace Parker said it's apples and oranges, Caitlin Clark to Angel Reese. She meant ability to lack of ability. In this case, we mean biological reality to biological reality. Speaking of reality, here we go again with riots in this country. California, we got to at least mention it here on the program. You know what's going on, all of the rioting, because it feels like we are at Mostly Peaceful Protest 2 Electric Boogaloo, the fucking sequel to this, where the media is going to tell us how many mostly peaceful protests did we see? Did anybody call J6 a mostly peaceful protest? Because it was mostly peaceful by the same definition that all of the uprisings that occurred back during the COVID pandemic were. They got labeled as mostly peaceful even as shit was on fire. Here we go again. Take a listen to this. Los Angeles news anchor looking at what's right before your eyes and before mine and finding perhaps the most charitable way to describe it.
Large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers and demonstrators.
It's just good old-fashioned American fun, folks. I mean, who doesn't like to get together with their friends and have fun watching cars burn? If you get the police involved in this, well, something bad might happen. What the fuck are you talking about?
You're speechless.
People having fun watching cars burn? And don't get the police. You know, if the police come here, this could get out of hand. It looks like it's out of fucking hand now. Maybe that's why we have police. Did it ever occur to you that when people are setting cars on fire, that's what the fucking police are for, among other things? What kind of a deranged lunatic says, hey, don't get the police. Hey, listen, if the police show up, this could get ugly. What are we doing? And John Fetterman, God bless him. John Fetterman remains the one Democrat that at least some of the time you can count on to be in touch with reality. And I say that as a lifelong fucking Democrat, man. People are like, well, what? Why aren't you still a Democrat? Well, free speech would be the number one answer on the board. That I don't know. When I was a Democrat, Democrats could tell the difference between men and women. When I was a Democrat, Democrats could tell that it was a good idea that if you live in a house, it ought to have doors that you have to go through to go into that house. That not everybody is allowed in and can just start raiding your refrigerator. And then when you say, hey, who are you? Why are you in my house? Why are you eating my shit out of my refrigerator? I want you out of the house. I'm going to be called an authoritarian for wanting you out of my house after you have come into my house illegally and you're taking my stuff. Yeah, I used to be a Democrat. I could be a Democrat again one day. I guess theoretically, if fucking brains return. Fetterman, however, the guy who had a stroke that everybody was making fun of, apparently he's got the best brain function of anybody over there. Fetterman tweeting out saying, I unapologetically stand for free speech, peaceful demonstrations, and immigration. But this is not that. You know what? I do too. Free speech, number one issue on the board for me, because if we don't have free speech, we lose this society. We lose it. And we lose it from within. And it's a silent loss. Everybody's worried about China, worried about this, worried about climate change, worried about Russia. Hey, we'll fuck ourselves up if we lose free speech, and I'm all in favor of peaceful demonstrations. Go demonstrate peacefully. I don't have to agree with you. Go demonstrate peacefully. I'm in favor of everybody's speech, man, even the people that I disagree with. But throwing rocks at police cars and setting shit on fire and looting is not free speech. It's rioting, and Fetterman's absolutely right. Call it what it is. And don't be a fucking moron who says people are just having fun watching cars burn. If the police come in here, then we might have a problem. Maybe the problem is we haven't had enough policing. And maybe the problem is that we've had so much disrespect for the police in recent years in this society. Defund the police. There's one of the most moronic things that's ever happened in this society. That idea. I don't want to kill your buzz today by getting too serious. I'm getting worked up here. I could never kill your buzz, however, as effectively as 60 Minutes has been doing it for my entire lifetime. And especially this motherfucker, Scott Pelley, captain of the all-punchable face team. This guy. Is there anything worse than realizing that your Sunday football viewing has come to an end? Yeah, there is. This cat shows up about 2 minutes later and says, I'm Scott Pelley, and I'm better than you, and I know everything, and you're stupid. Even when it was Mike Wallace, who I have respect for, I hated to hear that ticking clock because it meant that the ticking on the rest of your weekend until you had to go back to school on Monday had begun. That's what was ticking down, was your freedom. Because you were going to have to go back to class the next day. Even now, I hate 60 Minutes. And that's with Sunday Night Football, which is one of the finest American inventions that has occurred during the course of my lifetime, and the fact that I don't have to go to school anymore. Ricky Cobb's Rewind, coming to your inbox every Thursday. We got an edition coming out tomorrow, Thursday rather, day after tomorrow. So this is a good time for you to sign up. You'll get one in about 48 hours or so. If you do, just head over to outkick.com/newsletters. It'll be right there at the top. Put in whatever email address you use for such things. It's absolutely free, and you can unsubscribe at any time. There's no commitment whatsoever. So what are you waiting for? Get over, sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind. We've got the Margarita mailbag. Send me your questions, and I will answer them. And you can even send in your photos. We're going to do a little something called Super 70s Yourself. If you're scoring at home, these are all features that you will find in Ricky Cobb's Rewind. It's your backstage pass to Super 70 Sports and the Ricky Cobb Show. And speaking of scoring at home or scoring at the ballpark, everybody, in my opinion, should score one baseball game a year. At least one. It is good for the soul. Find yourself even if you don't want to get a scorebook, get out a yellow legal pad and write in the lineups one night and score a game and get back in touch with what made you love baseball in the first place. And I myself need to follow my advice because I haven't scored a game in a while. It's been a minute. When was the last time either one of you guys scored a baseball game?
I've never done it.
Come on, Ron. Wow. Comrade. Sorry.
I have never. No idea how.
What the fuck are we even doing here?
Niet, Ron. Niet.
Nope. Why would I want to do schoolwork at a baseball game or while I'm watching one? That seems dumb.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Ron?
My favorite wrestler?
Ivan Volsky? Who was it?
No, Ricky knows
who was it?
No,
Which Russian?
Nikolai Volkov.
I
believe it
and the Iron Sheik? Good
Superfly. Superfly. Yes. Come on.
Big fan.
Should have been a Russian.
He was a big Ivan Koloff fan as well.
That was the name. Yeah. Unfair question for me, Ricky, because I scored a ton of softball games for my daughter. So, but actually sitting at an MLB game and scoring it is pretty amazing. Do your daughters know how to score the game? They
do not. They do not. Thank you for adding that on. I hope not. I'll tell you that. If they do, I'm going to kick somebody's ass. I will. Tell you.
But I think it is an incredible skill, really. Ron, I'm not teasing. Like it is. There's an art form.
I don't think kids today know how. It's a lost skill, Tim, because I don't think that there are that many. It's one of those things that has to be passed down. Almost everybody
where did you learn,
loves
Ricky?
To score games,
who
they
taught
learn
you, Ricky?
from like a grandparent. I taught myself, motherfucker. I didn't have a daddy. So that's how it went down.
Okay, you didn't have a daddy. He sadly went home after the bars were closed to watch the Australian Open. I mean, this is a sad-ass show right now.
Being real, Ron, being real.
This is a show that you're on right now with an orphan and a man who was just trying to take some solace in the third round action at the Australian Open. This is real life, Ron. It's not always.
I have a micro penis.
I just like to remind everyone it's not all sunshine and glory holes. Dallas Cowboys.